political refugees, the live music, no state income tax. Hey guys, these are just some of the reasons that people are still moving to Texas and moving to, namely, New Braunfels, Texas. Hey y'all, it's Matt with Living in New Braunfels, Texas and the New Home Realty Group. Today, I'm going to talk to you about why some of my clients, or quite a few of my clients, have moved to Texas, moved to New Braunfels. It's for a variety of reasons. All right, a little bit about me. I am a local realtor here. I'm your go-to realtor. That's why you're watching this here in New Braunfels, Texas. And I mean, I think I'm starting like my 10th year in real estate. Before that though, I was a police officer with the New Braunfels Police Department. So that kind of gives me an advantage over a lot of the realtors that are here because the city of New Braunfels paid me to drive aimlessly. I was a patrol officer around the city for like 10 to 12 hours a night. So I know the city pretty good. But yeah, I've been doing real estate full-time since 2018. That's when I left the police department to do real estate full-time. And I started this channel back in 2020 because it was lockdowns. It was the beginning of COVID and people were doing nothing but consuming content. So I was like, well, I use YouTube to research everything. Maybe people are using YouTube to research moving to New Braunfels. Maybe they want to know what it's like living in New Braunfels, Texas. So here we are. But yeah, I posted my first video 5 years ago. I don't remember the exact date. I'd have to go take a look at it. But yeah, posted it 5 years ago. That was in May of 2020. You know, my first clients, they reached out to me in June. They were coming from Michigan. And the very first clients that called me from this YouTube channel, I'm like, hey, we've been watching your YouTube channels. We've seen your videos. And I'll be honest with you, back then, those videos were horrible. I was standing like in front of a green screen in mine and my wife's apartment because we had just sold our house. We were building another one. Anyway, I was doing the editing and it was bad. Anyway, they called me up and they were like, I remember the day because I was out showing other clients some homes and these were clients, these are friends of mine. And I got a phone call and it was a Michigan number. And I'm like, well, I don't know who that is. I didn't answer it and they left a voicemail. I remember listening to that voicemail being so excited because somebody called me off of YouTube like you should call me, right? Anyway, they were moving here because she was retiring and they were coming from Michigan and Texas does not have a state income tax. So therefore her retirement benefits weren't going to get taxed, the state income tax, like they were had she stayed in Michigan. So for them, it was saving money, you know, with no state income tax. That was one of the first things they told me. Also, it didn't hurt that her daughter and son-in-law were living in Texas, and I think they were going to be moving to this area. That was another one, but I remember them telling me like, hey, there's no state income tax in Texas. We really love that. It's going to save us money. I'm actually going to get more money in my retirement while I'm here. So yeah, so my very first ones, that's what it was for. Another early one that I had was a young couple, Steven and Christina. Are y'all still watching? Let me know. And they bought at the end of 2020, but they had contacted me before and they were living in California. And one of their dreams, like everybody else, they wanted to be homeowners, but they couldn't do that in California. Everything was too expensive, but they desperately wanted to be homeowners. They're like, you know what? We want to be a homeowner. So they started looking at different places. They found New Braunfels, Texas. They found my YouTube channel. They called and reached out and said, hey, Matt, we live in California, but we can't afford it here. We want to move to New Braunfels, Texas. We saw your channel. Would you represent us? And I've gotten that so many times. And I was like, absolutely, love to help you. And they flew out here. They drove around. They checked out the area. They didn't even let me know they were coming. They came here and they're like, hey, we're here in town. Do you have time to meet up with us for lunch, or is it like lunch or dinner? I was like, sure, let's go to Cooper's Barbecue because we've taken everybody to Cooper's Barbecue, right? So we met up at Cooper's, had a great talk with them, a great visit. And later on, got them pre-approved and we started looking at houses. But what we did though, and I've done this with so many clients, is they bought it sight unseen because I went through and I used my phone and I shot a video through there and like a home tour video, and I'm pointing out everything, pointing out almost everything that I can to give them all the details. I'm like, hey, here's this home, and you know, the tour of it, and just the feel that I'm getting while I'm in there and all, and then I upload it to YouTube, send them the link. It's like a private video or an unlisted one, so you can't go and search it. send them that link so that way they can go through it. They can watch it over and over again. They can pause it. They can zoom in. They can rewind, whatever. And they bought a house that was around 3,000 square feet, a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house, I believe. It was almost 3,000 square feet for under $300,000 at the time. I believe it was like in the 290s somewhere. But yeah, they wanted to be homeowners. And I was able to help them facilitate that and make it happen. So now we've got folks that want to save money on their taxes because we don't have a state income tax. And we got people that couldn't afford California, so they came out here. They wanted to be homeowners. So they figured New Braunfels, Texas was going to be, their best option. And they're still here. All right, fast forward a little bit further. And the biggest, so this is pretty cool. I had 2 families that reached out that both lived in Murrieta, California. So if you know where that is, kind of like northeast of San Diego, southeast of Los Angeles, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. But it's inland, and because everybody thinks California and everybody lives on the beach, right? Just like they think everybody in Texas wears cowboy hats and rides horses. All right, maybe I can wear a cowboy hat sometimes, but I don't ride a horse. But yeah, I had 2 families from Murrieta, and these were the first 2 of like, oh geez, I had another one that called me. I've had 1, 2, 3, at least 4 or 5 families that called me from like Murrieta, Temecula, Winchester area. But these 2 were kind of back to back. The first ones, they didn't really like the political climate, and also the state income tax was a thing. And so they drove out here, or they flew out, and I met up with them. We went and looked at a couple of neighborhoods. They settled on Vintage Oaks, which is now my neighborhood. Picked a builder and started to build a house. And then the next couple, with their family, they kind of the same thing. They were sick and tired of the political climate in California. They were just, I'm going to be honest with you, they were sick of Democratic policies, the Democrat policies that was turning the state to crap, right? And they're like, hey, it's not like that in Texas. Texas is still red. That's more aligned with our values, and we want to move there. And he was able to find a job here, and same thing. They picked our neighborhood, which is Vintage Oaks. I've done videos on that, so make sure you go and check that out. And they picked the same builder that the other ones from Murrieta picked, so that was pretty cool. So they built a house out here also. And I've had folks that kind of the same thing. It was politics from California. And oh my gosh, almost everybody in California they're just fed up of the politics, right? I gotta say, Gavin Newsom, thank you, Gavin Newsom, because you've been my employee of the year for sending me so many clients for like the past 5 years running. So thanks a lot, dude. I swear y'all have tried to recall him and it failed, and y'all voted for him again. But yeah, it's just they get sick of it. They get sick of district attorneys being soft on criminals. They get sick and tired of the overtaxing on things and the overregulation. It's just too much government. Like, I remember one of them told me that he likes to shoot guns. I don't even think he hunts or anything. He just likes to shoot guns every now and then. But he's got to pay like $200 a year for like a tax stamp thing, whatever, just so he can possess and own ammo. That's insane. That's insane. You have bigger things to worry about than having to collect a $200, tax on ammunition yearly. But yeah, political prisoner is what I felt like. We're just sick of it, ready to get out. Can't afford it anymore. Those are just the ones from California. And I've had, most of y'all that have, tell you what, let me know where you're watching from. Drop a comment down in the comments below and let me know where your location is. I get the ones from California. I got somebody in the UK. I think you're in northern England. Is that correct? That's been watching and they want to move here. But God, the ones from California though, I get so many of them. And you're going to have locals be like, oh, don't California my Texas. The ones that are moving here to Texas from California are the ones that vote red. So, take that as you may. And so that's been good. right? They're the ones that, you know, align with Texas values, and they watch me and they're like, hey, we just kind of connect with you. We feel like we know you. You know, you're a good guy, whatever. You're handsome, you're smart, you know, all that stuff that they don't say. Anyway, but yeah, why are you watching? What, you know, I want you to drop another comment. Let me know where you're watching from, and then also what brought you to this channel. Like, why are you interested in living in New Braunfels, Texas? If you're living here already and you just want to buy a home, great, I can help you do that. But if you're moving from somewhere else, let me know what that reason is too, because I'm curious as to see why. And what are some of the others? So I've had some that have moved here from Virginia. I had 2 families that moved from Virginia and actually bought in neighboring communities in Seguin. One was for a job. All right, so it's not like, oh, hey, we really want to move to Texas, but they were coming from Virginia. They did want to be in Texas. I think he was actually transferring jobs and he had the opportunity to go where he wanted, and he chose Texas. And they chose Seguin. So Seguin is just south of us, southeast. And if you're not watching Seguin right now and taking advantage of some of those home prices, you really should, because you can buy like a Perry home over there right now, like in the low 400s, which is insane for the quality of home that you're getting. You can't beat it. And actually, both of those families bought Perry homes. I've seen the ones that were coming from Marietta, both of those, they both built Perry homes. So, man, the other ones from Marietta that are here in the Grove with me, they also bought a Perry home. So 3 from Marietta that moved to New Braunfels, Texas, built Perry homes or bought a Perry home. Wow. Okay. The others built a custom home. But yeah, one was retiring. He was retired Navy, and then he was also retiring from federal work. And they didn't want to have to pay the state income tax that Virginia has. So they chose New Braunfels, Texas. They were already familiar with San Antonio, so they had that little bit of advantage, but they really wanted to be in New Braunfels. They wanted to be in the Seguin area. So we drove around for a little while. We looked at different builders. They wanted a brand new home. A lot of my clients that are moving here to New Braunfels are buying brand new homes. Some will buy resales, but most of them are brand new. But yeah, they wanted to save money too. So I mean, just look at that. Those are 2 things. Like, they're sick and tired of policies of the governments of where they're living, and they want a better quality of life, and they want to have more money of their money in their pocket and give less money to the government. Because as we're seeing right now with Doge and Elon Musk and everything, all the government waste that we're spending on, like, why would you want to give the government more money? You're more than welcome to. I want to keep as much as I can. So yeah, those are, 2 big reasons: politics and money. Another one is weather. Like, they're in the Pacific Northwest. They're tired of being cold, so cold in the winter. And they want to buy land out here and build like a small family like compound, a couple of houses. And but yeah, so theirs is a lot related to weather, because we have mild winters. It's hot during the summer. Like, we're in May and it's already in the 90s. I think it's already hit 100. It's already hit 100 here. So it does get hot during the summer, but we also have very mild winters. Yeah, we've had like those freak things of like snowvid, and we've had some more snow now and then. But for the most part, historically, very mild winters. And yeah, they're just tired of being cold. I'm kind of tired of being hot sometimes. I like to go and escape to the cold. But, I've been in the Texas heat for a long time. I'm already used to it. But yeah, they're escaping the cold weather from up north. Somebody else who is buying a house now, they'll be closing on it next month. He loves the live music scene here. He likes the weather too, all right? Because where he's at, he's in Indiana. And, flooding, tornadoes, things like that. And it's just nuts. But his big thing too is he loves live music and he loves Texas country. And those are 2 of the things that we have, plenty of in New Braunfels. Live music and Texas country. So some of our biggest Texas country artists live right here in New Braunfels. Randy Rogers from the Randy Rogers Band lives here in town. Cody Canada from Cross Canadian Ragweed and Cody Canada the Departed, he lives here in New Braunfels. Wade Bowen lives here. We also have folks like John Wolfe, and here's another one. He's not Texas country, but you might have heard of him before. Parker McCollum. He also calls New Braunfels home. So, but yeah, there's live music every single night. And it's not always Texas country. I'm sure you can find Texas country every night. But you have places like the Phoenix Saloon that's downtown New Braunfels. And you have Poorhouse that's downtown New Braunfels. And you've also got Green Hall, which is the oldest dance hall in Texas. And other places in Green. And so they're every night, all over town, you're going to be able to find live music. And that doesn't even, include the concert series, that they have mostly when it's warm, but like Whitewater Amphitheater. I went last year and I saw Willie Nelson and Robert Earl Keen. That was a heck of a show. Willie's getting a little old, right? He kind of sits there and he's not really singing much anymore. The guy's like 147 years old or something like that by now, but kind of more talks through his songs. But man, watching Robert Earl again, and I've been watching that guy for over 20 years, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, the live music scene is just, and Cheatham Street Warehouse that Randy Rogers owns is up in San Marcos, so just a short drive north. Plenty to see and do, and all the outdoor activities and, that go along with it as well. So, but yeah, again, I'm curious, why are you moving here? Why are you considering moving here? You're on this channel, drop it in the comments below. Let me know, and let me know where you're watching from. So one thing that I should probably talk a little bit more about is, and the reasons why people are moving here, is they're PCSing. All right, so if you're familiar with that term, then you already know what it is. If you're not familiar with that term, it's a permanent change of station. They're in the military and they're changing bases. They're getting transferred, right? So they're PCSing over here. Just around San Antonio, there's Lackland, so Air Force Base, and that's where all the Air Force training takes place. All right, that's their boot camp. But there is also, so people are stationed out there, even though if it's not recruit training and things like that. So, but you've got Lackland, and then you also have Randolph. That's going to be, so Lackland is kind of like like southwest San Antonio. Not a lot of folks that are PCSing here and moving to New Braunfels and Seguin are in Lackland, but you get some that are moving there because they're going to be stationed at Randolph. And Randolph is going to be in like northeast San Antonio, very close to Seguin and closer to New Braunfels, right? So they're PCSing here, usually with the Air Force. And they don't want to live near base, or they might not want to live on base. They don't want to live in San Antonio. They want to be somewhere else. And they're like, no, we've heard about New Braunfels, and they want to move here. They like living here. They don't mind driving a little bit longer to be living somewhere that's a little bit nicer. Not trying to downplay, or what do y'all call it, throw shade or whatever on San Antonio, but, they just want to be somewhere that's a little bit nicer. So yeah, another reason people are PCSing here with the military. Some of them are even retiring. We've got retirees that are officers, full bird colonels, lieutenant colonels. Like a buddy of mine that lives here in my neighborhood, they were stationed here back in the day, and they just loved it. And he retired. And we're like, no, we're moving to New Braunfels. So they built a house, a custom home out here. He's a retired lieutenant colonel, and they make New Braunfels their home. We've got, just in my neighborhood in Vintage Oaks, we've got a lot of retired military out here that they just wanted to be here for various reasons. But yeah, that's another reason why folks are moving here. All right, so those are the main reasons that people are moving here and want to live in New Braunfels, Texas. They want to live in Seguin, Texas. They want to be in Texas. They want to be in the Hill Country. Oh yeah, that's another thing. They love a lot of people come here on vacation. So I guess we're not done. So a lot of people come here on vacation and they just fall in love with the area, right? They came here, they were attracted to the area for a reason. That's why they vacationed here, and then they loved it so much they wanted to stay. So yeah, that's going to be the last reason. Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know why you're on this channel, what's going through your mind. There's a reason why you're watching a channel called Living in New Braunfels, Texas, right? It's not like you're watching my other channel called The Traveling Texans whenever we went and traveled for a year, but overseas. You're watching this one. And I like to know why. And if you're thinking about moving here and wanting to buy a house, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. All that contact information is in the description below. Make sure you go and like and subscribe. This video really helps me and lets YouTube know that I'm doing a good job. And until next time, y'all take care and go watch the next video.